Let's find out how China has been reacting from Adam Hancock, who joins us live now from Singapore. Adam, tell us more about what China has been saying about the U.S. downing of its balloon.
Well, they've hit back at the decision by Washington to shoot this balloon down. They've said they strongly oppose the actions of the US. They've described it as an overreaction, an obvious overreaction is actually what they said. And they've also threatened to take further actions, although no explanation of what that might be. And China really is at pains to stress that they still believe this was an accident. They've said it over a number of days now that this was merely a civilian aircraft. It was used to monitor the weather, and it was taken off course by the wind and ended up over US airspace. And they've repeatedly really said as well that this situation needs to be handled in a calm and composed manner. And the other day there was that phone call between the foreign minister in China, Wang Yi, and Secretary of State Anthony Blinken. And again, they stressed really the need for communication on handling this. And I think China will now point to the fact that the US have used force to down this balloon as them ignoring their advice really on how to handle this. And it's also really interesting over the last few days to watch how China has changed its position. When they first admitted that the balloon did belong to them, they were very apologetic, really. It was kind of out of character in terms of these statements, almost saying sorry, really, that it had ended up in US airspace. But as time has gone on, their tone has changed. They've been more aggressive now in their response and blaming the media and politicians in the US for using this really as a way to attack China. And obviously, they've come out now in response quite on the front foot. And it will be interesting when we find out more details once the debris of this balloon is gathered together, how China responds to any claims that the US might make.
Right. And this is expected to further strain relations between the two countries.
Absolutely, yes. It's ironic, really. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken was due to arrive in China today on Sunday to begin that high-profile visit. Obviously, that has now been cancelled, and it shows how fractured these relations really are. It's really on a knife edge at times between Washington and Beijing, and the fact that this incident happened on the eve of that visit shows, how difficult things are as both sides try to balance a lot of different things. There's lots at stake. Obviously, they're competing over, trade, their economies, relevance in the Indo-Pacific region as well, very important to both sides. Mm-hmm. And yet again, now we're having this situation where there's no face-to-face talks, but instead just a tit for tat from both sides, arguing over another incident that has flared up.
All right, Adam Hancock live for us there in Singapore. Thank you for that, Adam. Let's now go to